What up? Mike Carruth here. So I lied. Yeah, I said that was the last episode I was going to do today, but I realized there were a couple more things I needed to touch on that I forgot to touch on in my episode 2 video or audio. So yeah, let me get to this. Scott Snitzer. And I don't want to make a habit of bashing people. Because, I get irritated by people who try to ride off others' coattails by getting famous, by criticizing other famous people, right? That's not me at all. I'm looking for them honest folks. That's all I care about. And if I find someone who is pretending to be one of them honest folks and they ain't, then that's when I got something to say about it. So let me pull up this email that I sent Mr. Snitzer, because I, like many of you maybe, possibly, if you're finding me on this targeted individual subject or topic, have maybe stumbled onto some of Mr. Snitzer's videos, which are many of them on the topic of targeted individuals, felt compelled to reach out to him to tell him that I appreciated him having the balls to speak on the subject. And I want to share this with y'all and give you the whole story. But let me get this email pulled up. I probably should have already done that, but alright, here it is. So I decided, because I've gotten a few good ideas from Sky, I want to make sure I give him credit, because I am barely surviving. I want to put that right out front, that like when you're targeted to the degree that I am, and like I kind of thought Scott was too, being targeted to this degree, you literally fighting for your damn life, kids. It ain't no joke. You denied access to employment. You denied access to pretty much any kind of government assistance. I mean, I do get food stamps and I'm grateful, but I'm wondering, when are they going to cut them off? I got a pending disability claim and I got tons of documentation, and even with an attorney, I'm very doubtful. Did you know hundreds of thousands of people die each year while they're waiting for a decision on their disability claim? Yeah, I'd be one of them hundreds of thousands. I guarantee it. May still be. Don't know, but all right. So my point was, the one idea he gave me was he put out a wish list on Amazon for just survival items, and he's like, you want to help me? Here's my wish list. And I never would have thought of that. I was like, that's a great idea, Scott. That was one of the things that made me want to reach out to the dude. I don't even think I shared that with him, but so I'm gonna read you my email to Scott, okay, and then I'm gonna read you Scott's reply. And I'm going to give you a little of the backstory here, okay? So, hi Scott, my name is Mike Carruth. I've been a fan of your channel for some time now. I have been pretty busy lately making my own content, but I still occasionally watch one of your videos and always find them impeccable. What I connect with the most is when you discuss the targeted individual phenomenon. I myself am a targeted individual, and I know from what you have shared in some of your videos that you have experienced this mystery directly yourself. I have a background in mental health and psychology, as well as many years' experience as a programmer and applications developer. So I have a pretty unique skill set that has allowed me to identify and document the different layers involved in the targeted individual electronic harassment phenomenon, since at its core, it's part psychology and part technology. I have been putting together a website and a podcast, and it is already being heavily censored, which tells me that I'm directly over the target. What I've discovered is that the fear of shame is the fuel and the bullseye that the quote machine, end quote, or quote the system, or whatever you want to call it, feeds on, which allows it to alienate and isolate folks like myself, and I'm sure you as well have experienced similar circumstances. I have attempted to demonstrate how to overcome. Oh, got a page down. Give me just a second. I have attempted to demonstrate how to overcome this fear of shame and how to take away from that machine any power that it previously had to manipulate me via my fear of other people's opinions of me. Consider it a little bit of shock treatment, because it definitely can appear, quote, hateful, end quote, and, quote, bigoted, end quote, and, quote, racist, end quote, and, quote, misogynistic, end quote, etc., etc., etc. But, the good news is that my techniques are working like a charm. Now, instead of being controlled by fear, I simply document everything and make fun of it and laugh as I capture it all on video, screen cap, audio, etc. I've added some very useful apps and browser extensions for targeted individuals to my website that are all free to use, as well as my technical analysis and feedback, a section that I call my TI Toolbox, end quote. And I've also added a few episodes of an audio-only podcast where I share my personal, quote, lived experience as a targeted individual in a, quote, comedy type format. I think these episodes will be of value to those who are mostly men too, hint hint, finding themselves on the receiving end of these hateful and malicious tactics that are indeed designed to psychologically break individuals and aims to achieve either, quote, psychiatric hospitalization, end quote, and or, quote, suicide, end quote, and or both, and is quite successful in doing so. And I don't know if you are aware of this, but 80% of all suicides are, quote, middle-aged white males, end quote. And on a probably related asterisk note, 99% of the, quote, mental health profession, end quote, is comprised of white females, all caps, asterisk. I know this, all caps, because I worked in that system for many years. And I can tell you that those figures are absolutely accurate based on my own direct experience with it. The last video you put out that I watched was on the topic of, quote, self-sabotage, end quote, a topic I am very familiar with. I used to give, quote, wellness classes, end quote, at a, quote, mental health recovery, end quote, center, and gave many lectures on the same topic. And I thought I well understood it too. But there are so many additional layers to that particular combination of words. It is truly staggering. I hope that maybe we can share some ideas. I'm not looking to step on any toes, as I can clearly see that we are both in the same boat, that, quote, just trying to survive, end quote, life raft. So I don't want to intrude on any income sources that you have in place. But, switch pages here. If you review my site and my YouTube channel and find some of my ideas useful, feel free to spread the word on your channel. I'm not even really worried about referrals or anything because it's not a source of income for me at this point. Maybe in the future, but right now it's more about just getting the message out to those who need to hear it. Thanks again for all you do. I know your heart is in the right place. It takes balls to admit that you are being targeted in today's, quote, that sounds like crazy person talk, end quote, psychological prison, hint, hint, society that we all live in today. I respect that about you, even if you decide not to respond to my email and couldn't care less about what I'm attempting to share with you. Take care, brother. Stay safe. Best regards, Mike Carruth. All right, So there's my email to Mr. Snitzer. Snitzer. Mr. Snitzer. Scott Snitzer. Sorry, Snitzer. So, let me read you what Scott responded with. Because I had checked my email, and I make it a point to only check my email maybe twice a day, maybe once in the morning, once in the evening. I'm not going to be a slave to looking for a reply from an email. Like, you take as long as you want, or you can reply as quickly as you want. But I am making some observations, and I did happen to notice that Scott responded very quickly, and I didn't read his response, but already I'm just like, he's got his smartphone, like he's connected at the hip to the beast. That tells me a lot right there by how quickly he responded. Even though it's Proton Mail, that means you send him an email, his little dumbass smartphone is going off, or his laptop is popping up a notification, and he is just like a robot responding to that. That's not me, by the way. And I'm not necessarily trying to be a hard ass on Scott, because he does put out some good content. But that told me a lot. If you're targeted, why the fuck do you have your fucking, notifications? Like, why are you, a slave to your notifications, dude? Because that's one of the ways you're controlled by the machine, is through those dumbass notifications. So whether it be email or text or any fucking thing, I'm disabling all notifications on my smartphones, my dumbass smartphones. And ain't nobody gonna fucking pressure me into responding just because there's not gonna be a notification. I'll check it when I'm good and damn ready. That's my policy. So see what I'm saying already? I'm not trying to be a hard ass, but I'm seeing, damn, Mr. Targeted Individual, not so smooth. Okay, that was my first observation. So I checked it the next morning, and the first email he had sent me just telling me, I got your email, it's chock full of information, I'm going to research it and I'll get back to you. And then he had responded with a long, and before I even read this, I want to say he makes some very good points. But I'm not even going to tell you how to interpret it. I'm just going to read you his response. And then I'm going to give you, I say I won't tell you how to interpret it. I can't help but I'm going to have to give you a little bit of feedback on that response. Okay, so let me get logged in. And then I'm going to read you Scott's response. And I'm going to give you some additional feedback and just kind of wrap it all up in a nice, neat little bow for you. Let me turn this music down. It's a little bit too much right this minute, so I'm going to cut this back to 33. And I'm going to read you Scott's response. Because in between me reading Scott's response, I sent Scott a friend request on Facebook. And to be fair, I can't independently verify or confirm that this is indeed the exact same Scott Snitzer that I was emailing with and that, I found on YouTube, because he doesn't list a Facebook page that I've seen anyway in any of his contact info. So I just did a search for Scott Snitzer on Facebook, and it was the same picture that's on YouTube. So I sent him a friend request. In all fairness, it may or may not have actually been Scott. I can't independently confirm that. But I kind of got the feeling that it kind of maybe probably was. But just in the interest of total transparency, I want to put that out there. But okay. So, sent what I thought was probably Scott a friend request. And Scott accepted that friend request. But let me read you Scott's response. So the next morning, which was the day before yesterday, I guess it was Sunday. No. He said what's the day? Yeah, today's Tuesday. It was yesterday morning. Monday morning, the 31st. I got up and I read Scott's response. And here is Scott Snitzer's response. to the email that I shared with you previously. Thanks again for reaching out to collaborate, Mike, and thank you for the kind words of praise. I read some of your writings, and a lot of it goes with some of my own advice. It's refreshing to see that there are other people who take a logical and grounded approach to dealing with the targeting. I cover many topics, including the emotional and mental aspects of targeting, as far as the assaults go, and how to best deal with them. But even though I have not gotten any kind of solid feedback, I really doubt that many people have done even some basic research on what I've covered and or tried some of my advice out, because I get the impression that most targets want some kind of quick endorphin fix from a video. Most people would rather embrace the victim mindset than to really push and do something about it. And I'm going to stop right there and just say, I'm in total agreement with that, honestly. It's a little harsh, but it's honest. And I totally agree. So let me continue. So I put as much good information as I can in each video and live stream, and I let people do what they will with it. And I can only hope that more people than not have been taking what I've covered seriously. And it's not a matter of ego. It's all about my constantly refining how I approach any given topic. And I usually state when I have been wrong about something. Okay, so far so good, right? I'm just going to, each paragraph, I'm going to just make a little brief comment or two. Not that I have to disclose it, but I have barely gotten anything donation-wise, and this is with a lot of research and my own money put into the 5 or so years that I've had this channel. That is totally believable too, honestly. I have seen, you pour your heart and soul into something and you're not really rewarded for that, are you? So it does not surprise me to hear that, even though I doubt that Scott has any idea how much worse it can actually get. But I'll just leave that because fair statement. Okay. Continuing on, I'm not even sure myself why I keep putting so much effort into my videos, because I know that most people want to be entertained instead of really thinking things out, which could change their lives for the better. Again, total agreement. Okay? Now here's where it starts to get a little, I'm like a little conflicted on the inside when I read some of these next lines. My only contact with other targets include a couple of people on Messenger, my Proton, and AOL, and I speak to 2 people, but it's rare, and the topic of targeting barely comes up. Okay, so I'm just like, that was a curveball. Didn't see that one coming. Because, yeah, that's not what I would have expected to hear. But, hey, who am I to judge, right? I'm just going to keep right on going here. Next paragraph. A very lengthy email. He put some thought and he put some heart and soul into his response, and I respect that. And he's being honest. And I'm going to critique some of it, but, this is me being honest. So make of that what you will. Now, here's where I've, I start to kind of take issue a little bit with some of this. I have as little to do with other people who are targeted because it leads nowhere, and as I've alluded to, I really do not think that most of my viewers appreciate the depth of material that I put into my videos, but I do so because it's my nature and I'm just following my conscience. So it's kind of like I get the feeling that, okay, even though I pretend to be like the prophet for the targeted individuals, these motherfuckers are like some crazy motherfucking lepers in reality in my own mind. I'm just quietly keeping that part to myself. You with me? Yeah, that's the vibe I get off of that. I'm sorry, that's the honest truth. Call it your conscience, this is my conscience. I'm being honest. Okay, continuing on. And as I have said in some videos, if someone refuses to even try to get out of their comfort zones, they deserve to suffer. Now, right there on that term, comfort zones. Like I said, I spent many a year as a mental health professional, and I took a particular interest in psychology because it fascinated me and it reminded me that our minds are computers and our psychology is our operating system. And after being a programmer for decades, I saw many parallels between psychology and computer programming. And that word comfort zone and get out of your comfort zone, I have heard that cliche parroted ad nauseum, ad infinitum, and it is so, in my truth, completely opposite from reality. Why the fuck would I want to step out of my comfort zone, dude? My comfort zone is where I have my inner clarity. It's that island within, as the Buddha called it. That's my comfort zone. Why do you want me to step out of that? Why do all these mental health morons parrot that cliche from their pedestal, thinking that they're fucking geniuses, when it's completely opposite from reality, from actual reality, from the actual reality that I live in? Now, I don't know what the fuck reality you live in, Scott, but in my actual reality, my comfort zone is where I aim to stay. Why? Because that's where I can create with clarity, and I can speak from the heart. That's all done from within my comfort zone, bruh. So yeah, I take issue with the parrots just parroting that dumbass fucking cliche. So let me just continue to move on here. Stay in your comfort zone is my point. That's your comfort zone is your little oasis, dude. It's a crazy fucking world out there. Have you been outside lately, Scott? I mean, I see you're always sitting at that fucking computer in your kitchen or something, but dude, that's your comfort zone, is it not? Maybe I haven't watched enough of your videos, but I've never seen one of you out there in the middle of Manhattan doing a live stream, brother. Step out of your comfort zone, hypocrite. Okay, but I digress. Let me continue. I avoid the topic of suicide. Oh, this one really got under my skin a little bit, dude. Like, to be serious about it, like, this is my fucking passion, is speaking about the connection between targeted individuals and suicides. Yet Scott avoids the topic of suicide as much as possible because Scott knows that most people who watch my videos are already aware of it. And I'm reading, let me reread that so you don't, I'm reading Scott's email again. I avoid the topic of suicide as much as possible because I know that most people who watch my videos are already aware of it. And in several videos, I have gone into what people can do to combat depression, including some of the hidden causes of it. And I have also done a few videos in which I covered seasonal affective disorder. And again, if someone does not want to take my earnest advice, say on seasonal affective disorder, acronym SAD, which I suffered from for many years, so I'm not making light of it. It's real. Oh, it's absolutely real. And what's the cure? Staying in your comfort zone, Scott. That cured me of it. Any questions, genius? Then again, they fucking deserve to rot, targeted or otherwise. That was Scott's closing line. Let me read you that whole paragraph again from Mr. just, being true to his conscience, prophet of targeted individuals. Let me read you that whole paragraph again. I avoid the topic of suicide as much as possible because I know that most people who watch my videos are already aware of it. And in several videos, I have gone into what people can do to combat depression, including some of the hidden causes of it. And I have also done a few videos in which I covered seasonal affective disorder. And again, if someone does not want to take my earnest advice and say on SAD or seasonal affective disorder seriously, then again, they fucking deserve to rot, targeted or otherwise. I have a few things I would like to add to what I've already said about that, but I'm going to go ahead and continue and just let you make of that and what you will. Because here's where Scott began to creep back into where I'm in total agreement with him territory. The mental health profession is a madhouse unto itself, and of course, between most of the psychotropics that are prescribed and the crap food people emotionally binge on and eat because their SSRIs and SNRIs are making them eat like crazy. Totally true. Totally agree. The mental health field is one of the leading causes of depression. Totally agree. And many other ailments, he continues. Most which could be prevented and cured with working on the gut microbiome. And here we go with some keto, a keto omnivore diet and some good supplements, here we go, right? You lost me there, bro. But everything that preceded that was spot on, and I'm not even gonna acknowledge the keto bullshit or the supplements bullshit, period. The gut microbiome, a very genius sounding way of just fucking eat right, dude. Seriously, all these fucking power words, genius words. I'm a genius word. I hate these fucking know-it-alls, dude. That's the honest truth. And you can't disguise it with this empathy-laden language if you're just a fucking callous, fucking arrogant know-it-all. Constantly referring to your videos that you put out. Did you listen to anything I said? It was almost his entire email is him describing the videos he has already put out. And I'm sorry, Scott, but no, I ain't sorry. You're a piece of shit, bruh. You're a fucking piece of fucking rotten ass shit who makes some good points, but at your core, you're an arrogant fucking know-it-all, what I refer to as a debate bot. A debate bot who is completely convinced that they're a genius and that everyone else they speak to is dumber than they are. That's who you are, Scott Snitzer. So, let me continue. Two more paragraphs. Yeah, because that gets, I'm sorry, man, but no, I'm not sorry. That irritates me, and I'm going to be honest about it. So, where was I at? Again, my feel from my close to 1 decade of observing and interacting with the online TI community has shown me that most people not only want a quick fix, but they want someone else to fucking do it for them. And this is contemptible. It's lazy, cowardly, and pathetic. Very good with words, Scott Snitzer is he not? Right. And I agree in some ways with what he's saying there. But he just has he's got a bad fucking attitude towards the entire TI community. Is this not crystal fucking clear from this email? Yet this motherfucker is capitalizing off putting out content that specifically caters to the TI community as he pretends to be like the savior for the TI community. That's some straight fucking bullshit, Scott. I don't give a fuck how large your vocabulary is. So if you would like to send me some emails with suggestions, that would be great, Mike. But I am not working with anyone as far as the channel goes. And in general, I keep to myself. I'm a one-man operation, and I doubt that I will ever interview someone for a video because I'm not making any money off of it, and interviewing someone would not help anyone. And who am I to argue with that? That's a fair point. I'm the same way, to be honest. Fuck interviewing. Fuck other people, dude. That's the whole reason that targeted individuals, began to fucking descend into madness and psychosis, is because they're relying on other people who are themselves fucking insane. So fuck other people. I totally agree with Scott on that point. So I think that, I think that I said in a recent video that one of the reasons why I still do the video, this is the part that really, this sums it all up. This is the last paragraph in the email. It sums it all up. I think that I said in a recent video that one of the reasons why I still do videos is that it's something to do. And of course, I like to share what I know, hint, hint, is good info, hint, hint, with other people, hint, hint. But since last November, what passion I had for the videos is mostly gone. I get enthused as I can for my sake and for my viewers, but if and when I find something to replace doing these videos, the channel will be deleted and I will not look back. Sincerely, Scott Snitzer. Okay, so I'm just going to read you my little response because I was not going to engage in any kind of fucking intellect battle with this moron, because that's what he's looking for. It's what he feeds off of. It's someone who can play the fucking debate bot game and the who's smarter than who game. And that ain't me, broski. Even though I guarantee you my IQ is way higher than yours, my EQ is beyond your fucking comprehension. But okay, here is my fucking little reply, because I had to give him something. I respect that, Scott. I really do. The one-man operation mindset is very similar to my approach. I agree with pretty much everything you said. And of course, I lied there. But there's some agreeing and disagreeing on the same point. There's some, I can see your point, dude, but I still disagree. It's a gray area, okay? And let me just continue. The only difference I really see in our, quote, philosophy, end quote, parentheses, yours and mine, parentheses, comma, if you will, comma, is that I would like to leave something behind for the future generations to learn from, parentheses, if there are any actual free-thinking humans, asterisk, left, LOL. Out of everything you said, comma, all fabulous, I lied, comma, this line resonated to the core. And it did. And he is spot on here. Quote, the mental health field is one of the leading causes of depression, end quote. Scott Snitzer. And I even wrote out a heartfelt post on Facebook and quoted him and credited him with that quote, as I sliced into exactly why the mental health system or the mental health field is one of the leading causes of depression. As a former mental health professional, and Scott unfriended me on Facebook, or at least, you know, the account pretending to be Scott Snitzer unfriended me on Facebook. And whether or not it was really him is really almost irrelevant, because if it wasn't him, or if it was him, you know, he would have unfriended me anyway. If it wasn't really him, all the better. But I guarantee you that Scott Snitzer would have unfriended me. If that wasn't really Scott Snitzer's Facebook account, even so, if it was, he still would have unfriended me. Because that's how honesty is. People can only handle varying degrees of honesty. And the level that I'm at with honesty, it's 100% pure, unfiltered honesty. And I don't give a fuck how honest you think you are, or how much you think you're following your own conscience. I guarantee you that you cannot handle 100% pure honesty, Scott. So that's my little feedback on Scott Snitzer. And like I said, credit where credit's due. He's honest, and he was honest with me, and he probably won't appreciate me sharing his honesty with you. But I even respect that he was honest enough to express his honest feelings about how he felt about what he's doing, and how, you know, his heart isn't in it anymore. I respect that. But my heart is 100% in it, and it's all up into that suicide area and the mental health system area. And I got the goods on these motherfuckers, all of them, that connects all the dots. And I just dropped Scott a few hints, and Scott, as fucking genius as he thinks he is, was completely deaf, dumb, and blind to all of them fucking gold nuggets I dropped. All of them. Didn't even see it. Dropped it right in front of his face, and he could not stop talking about himself and his dumbass videos. He could not stop talking about himself long enough to see that 24 karat pure gold that I dropped right in front of his face. And that's how hypocrisy works, y'all. We're all hypocrites. It's the whole solution to the equation. No better, no worse. Why am I no better and no worse than you are? Because I'm a hypocrite too. But I can say that honestly. Can you? That's all it takes. That's all that's standing between you and unlimited intelligence, awareness, knowledge, wellness, peace. All it takes is looking at yourself in the mirror and acknowledging that, hey, I am no better and I am no worse than Scott Snitzer. And I can call him out on his bullshit because I have been that arrogant piece of shit that thought I already knew everything and thought that no one else had anything to share with me that I didn't already know. I've been that arrogant prick. So I can call it out when I see it, knowing that, yeah, I'm no better, but I'm still going to call it out. You better believe it. And I'm just getting started, y'all. Have a great evening. Peace out. Much love, Scott. Peace be with you, brother.